on the road to more regenerative working is self-awareness. And there is a direct link between self-awareness, well-being, and levels of performance. The more self-aware an individual is, the more likely they are to have higher levels of well-being and ultimately higher levels of productivity. Now, as Stephen and Bevin and Gary Cooper pointed out in their research, line managers need to have higher levels of emotional intelligence and empathy. And that all starts with self-awareness. One of my favourite studies was actually carried out by Green Peak Partners, who are an international consulting company, and Cornell University. And between 2005 and 2008, they carried out a study involving 72 senior leaders across 30 different organisations. And the study went against what at the time was thought to be conventional wisdom. And that was that the no-nonsense approach to leadership will provide the biggest return. But in actual fact, found was with leadership, business leadership, the nice guys finished first. And that's the name of the report. If you want to look it up, it's readily available on the internet. And specifically within that report, they break it down. And they found that poor interpersonal skills lead to underperformance. Leaders who interpersonal skills scores were low also scored poorly on just about every single performance dimension. They also found down, if at all mentioned, in organisations as one of the criteria that they looked for when looking for recruiting leaders. Now, it's argued, therefore, that actually it should be high on the list because, interestingly, a high self-awareness score was the strongest predictor of overall success. Now, that's not altogether surprising if we think about it, because leaders who have higher levels of self-awareness not only understand their strengths, they also understand their weaknesses or their blind spots. And they're often then better able to hire team members who have skills and talents that complement their own. To ask for help if it's in an area that they know is a particular blind spot for themselves. They're also more likely to listen to and evolve and collaborate team members and actually feel comfortable with team members coming up with ideas or solutions that could be better than their own. Now, what the research didn't actually, though, the researchers didn't expect to find when they started out on this report was that the bully traits are often seen, that at that time certainly was seen very much part of a business building culture, as being too arrogant, being direct, too direct, should I say, being impatient and stubborn, actually correlated with low performance ratings. And not surprisingly, the leaders who scored low in these areas actually were not very good at managing their people, managing talent, inspiring their workforce, or in fact, of being a team player. Awareness and understanding is a journey. It's an ongoing process, and a few ways of raising self-awareness. And it's always best to have a combination of these. I must stress that point. But a few ways you can start to raise self-awareness is asking for feedback from your peers, your managers, family, friends, and colleagues. If you work with a coach or a mentor, asking them for some feedback, 360-degree feedback activities. Self-reflection is very, very important. Taking time out, perhaps using journaling, meditation, being mindful in the moment, spending time in the present, checking in with yourself, getting in touch with your inner thoughts and feelings, a little bit like we did at the beginning of the session today. I asked you just very quickly, what's going on for you right now? How are you feeling? We can do the same with our inner thoughts and feelings. Just stop while you make yourself that next brew, while the kettle's boiling, just actually, or while you walk to the boiler, just ask yourself, what's going on for me? What's my thoughts? What's my thinking at the moment? And of course, behavioral profiling tools, and lots of tools available out there.